The first pregnancy, I think we had sex maybe less than 5 times in the entire 9 months.
My wife got pregnant 2 months after we got married. The celibacy part, I'm not the guy that has blue walls,
Okay.
as they say it, right? So I'm not one of those guys that you can also set up and say, I'm not going to cook, you are going to suffer. No, I'll go into the kitchen and make my food.
Okay. Welcome once again to your favorite family podcast, For Families Podcast, and I'm excited to be your host, Isabella Adediji. Now, if you're new here, I have one question for you. Where have you been? I mean, come on. You're truly invited. So what do we do on For Families Podcast? We have conversations. We keep it real when it comes to the family. So think marriage, raising children, yes, even divorce, separation. I mean, it affects our families. So we have these open heart conversations, and I'm always so excited when we have couples on the show. But hey, I can't wait for you to meet our guest today. Now, if you're not following us on social media, here is your cue to make sure you follow us across all our social media platforms and subscribe to the channel. Tap the notification bell so that you can get notified when a new episode drops. And of course, keep the questions coming in, keep the comments coming in. We want to hear from you. And if there's something you think we should discuss here on For Families Podcast, we're all ears. So let's get right into our conversation today. So what are we discussing today? Your guess is as good as mine. We're talking marriage. Yes, I know social media always tends to paint a bad picture of marriage. We hear more about couples who are breaking up after 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. And sometimes we don't hear enough about couples who have stayed together for a year, 5 years, 7 years, even 50 years, 70 years. And we know marriage is such a beautiful institution. And I think if we had more open and honest conversations on what keeps the spark going in a marriage, I think more couples will be encouraged to just try and work things out. I mean, we're not saying that if they are beating you should stay. Oh no, that's not what we're saying. But I mean, if there's hope in your marriage and you think it can still be salvaged, and it's just maybe differences, you're still trying to figure things out, then why don't you hear from people who have been there, done that, have the t-shirt? And our couple today are celebrating 7 years in marriage. 7 is a big deal, trust me. If you're a person of faith, you know that 7 stands for, like, this is the completeness. It's complete. You know, when you think about a week, it's 7 days in a week, then we start all over again. So 7 is a special number, and they've been married for 7 years, happily married. They have 2 girls, and I'm really excited to be finding out what they've done to keep that spark going. And I mean, I've been observing them. Hey babe, okay now. Also, I'm still learning. We have not yet done 7 years. So our first guest is a voiceover artist. Yes, he's been in the game for a decade and a half. He's the convener of the largest voiceover conference in Africa, the Voiceover Conference. He runs his own voiceover production company for TV, for radio, and his wife is also a big madam in her own right. Yes, she runs her PR agency, representing brands, organizations, giving them the media coverage they need. They're doing big things together, but we want to find out what makes their marriage go strong. What are they still doing lovey after 7 years? They've not seen themselves finish. Well, we'll find out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to For Families Podcast. We have Emmanuel-Macaulay. Yay! And then we have Blessing Emmanuel-Macaulay. Yay!
Thank you so much. Thank you for the warm welcome.
You're welcome. You're
I
welcome.
felt like she rolled out the red carpet.
Yes, so you deserve it now. All right. Before we even find out, like 7 years, like how did you guys meet? Was it love at first sight? Has it still been shocking you the way it was shocking you then?
I'll let him answer.
You let me answer. Well, we met, I think, 9 years ago. Right.
Okay.
At the time, I was still hustling through the university. Right. But she was already done with her, first degree. She was doing her first master's at the time, and she was producing a particular show for where she was working, and they needed a presenter, a male presenter. And I was interning at the time at Unilag FM. So a colleague of mine told me about that opening. And because I was hustling and going to school and putting myself through school and all, so I went to the company where she works, and she was the one producing the show. That was the beginning of it.
So you went there to go and get job. Did you have a girlfriend at the time? Well, you're looking at your madam.
No, I didn't have a girlfriend.
So when you saw her, were you
No,
like,
there was nothing like, it wasn't love at first.
okay, it was just like, okay, this woman, let me
was-
just be in a good book so she'll give me the job. Did she have the decision making?
Yes, she
power?
was the one literally hiring, right? But we had a short conversation. She needed a male presenter after all.
There are 1 million and one male presenters.
No, it's just that
I've presenters finished the
It's
Unilag
just that
FM.
there's just one with my voice.
Oh shit, with my voice. Okay. So the voice capture you.
Yes, because people are asking, so how did, and the voice. So it was first the voice for me, and for him it was my nails. My nails are not as nice as they used to look
They're
then.
still nice.
They're still nice, but I mean, so I used to grow them out, and they were really nice. And then he saw my nails, and he was like, "Your nails are nice." I'm like, "Thank you."
Wait, he came for interview.
Yes.
And he was looking at your nails.
Yes.
Please, how does that one relate to presenting? I don't understand.
Ask him.
It's just,
Or was that your tactic? Like, let me toast her so she will now be like, the voice.
not at all. Not at all. I didn't come for all of that. Actually, I wasn't attracted to her at first.
But you liked the nails.
Yeah, it was just a simple conversation, just a simple compliment. You know, when you see someone, just look for something to say.
I
"Okay,
know
it's
your
nice."
type. Yeah, you just look for something. Yeah, your hair is nice. Your nail is nice. Your studio is nice. Your cup is nice.
Yeah, just something. So yeah, that was the genesis of it. The rest they say is history, but it's been good.
I want to know, like, when he went beyond the voice and when the whole is just not your nails now, is your face, is your this, is your that. Like, did you guys work together, and when did things change?
Yeah, we worked together. In fact, at the time we met, I was dating someone, right? But I'd been looking for how to leave that relationship.
So you just heard the voice.
Well, it wasn't. I mean, so when I met him, of course, the voice was good. It was like perfect, and I really liked the voice because I'd always had a thing for voices. But so I remember running to one of my colleagues in excitement and say, "I really like his voice," and she was like, I'm like, "Nah, never." Because he was in the university.
It was your junior.
Yeah, not even junior. I graduated.
As in, you were working,
Yes,
like, is the one come,
my
is
first
an
master's degree.
like, so it was like school mother, school son.
I didn't even know he was in school, so it was not taking that long. So. But I mean, we decided to just. I think he asked me to be his girlfriend, and I'm like, nah. Are you sure? I said so. I remember saying that. You see, I'm not here for this boyfriend and girlfriend thing. I am looking for something serious. So if you want something serious, we can have that conversation. And if you don't, that's fine. Let's just keep it moving. And so he said he didn't respond. He didn't say anything. He just said, okay. And that was, I'm like, he's not even trying. Well, but we just had started talking, and we had really good conversations, and we were building this friendship, and it was all going good. And one day he was talking to his mom on the phone and says, I found someone I'm getting married to. And I looked at him like, Bego, calm down. Don't be in a hurry. But he was certain. And so I got to that point as well. Now, if you ask me when exactly did I know, I would say I didn't know particularly, but I went with the flow. And in going with the flow, we had a lot that aligned. So we agreed on a number of things. We had similar values. And so it made it easier for me. And finally, I just decided, okay, you know what? You're not going to get you don't know everything before you start. So when you get in, you start figuring things out. I wish that somebody had told me to look for everything before you start.
Okay. Yeah. I love that answer, because the next question I wanted to ask, to really understand like why in marriage, goes from 1 year to 2 years to 7 years, is a lot of times people have expectations before they get married. They get in there and their expectations are not met, or the person changes and they're like, look, I didn't sign up for this. So to understand like why the spark is still there, why you guys still love each other, you're still together, I want to understand from you, when you were talking to your mom, what had you seen in her that made you think, okay, I've reached my last bus stop? And as you reflect on that, have those things played out in the marriage? Because just like she said, you don't know everything before you get in.
Yeah. I think one of the first things is that she's a very stubborn person. It's annoying, but I thought I needed someone that was very strong-willed.
Okay, I like strong-willed.
Right, because I have the tendency to, I'm a very content person. I'm grateful for every step of the way, every day. So sometimes I know that it can make me relax. And because I knew that, I wanted to be with a woman who was very intentional and driven. And I saw that she had like some things that I felt would complement me. Maybe not as clearly as right now, but I think that was part of the reasons. But bottom line is, usually we'll say she's very stubborn. She's very strong-willed. It has this very good part and the not so exciting part. But in all, I'm grateful for it, because she's pushed me to do certain things, right, that I didn't know how to do that much. Right. So for me, I think that was the one of the first things that made me decide to say, this person, I think I want her in my space.
Interested. I'll let you have your day in court, but I want to know, when you met each other, I don't know if it was just a thing of maybe you didn't get into uni on time and that's why you were still in uni when she had finished, or is it a thing of age difference, or are you the same age?
No, I'm older than her with like 7 years.
You are older than her.
I know the looks are deceptive, but I'm way older than she is. But I had it pretty rough,
Wait, let her take it.
Wait. So maybe that is where you had confidence to be looking at your madam, because you're like, it's not this one that I'm older than. It's not because of condition that I'm here doing intern.
Yeah. So
because me, I would have been like, you're reaching now. You're still in uni, and yeah, I am a big woman. Okay. I see. But in any way, did that dynamic affect things? Because I can just imagine maybe conversations with your friend. Don't be that boy wake up for internship and they ask you out. No, it's not like that. He's even older than me. Or, I mean, was that ever like something that was discussed or went through your mind?
No. So, so first it was me. I was like, nah, he's in uni. Nah, it can never happen. I literally said, nah, it can never happen.
Test God.
But we got talking, and I think when we started talking, I kind of shielded him from my friends. I don't have too many friends actually, but even the ones that I have, I just shielded him. I just like, there's this mystery guy, and that was it. Because I really did not want anybody coming to mess with my mind, to say, and I knew that I really liked him. I wanted to see how far it would go. And I didn't want anybody to come and say, oh, this and that. And so even when we got to the point where my mom began to say something, I'm like, nah, my mind is made up. And this is where I want to be. So let's leave it at that. And of course, at some point, I also had to check with God to say, are you sure this is a good idea? And then I got his endorsement. If they had told me that God's endorsement does not mean that you are not going to put in the work, I would have said, oh yeah, let's look at another.
That is the cocoa of the conversation. So all this one is just peri and appetizer. The main course, sometimes to understand your journey and to reflect, you also need to know like how it all started. So now let's get into the meat of the conversation, which is 7 years in. I mean, you can start with the do's, the don'ts, the aha moments, I wish I knew this. You guys listen, draw your ear ahead. Any one of you can go first.
Ladies first.
Okay, so 7 years. I think the first couple of years were really turbulent, and for us, it felt like, okay, we just made bad decisions, and we had no business being married, and we kept feeling like that. But my favorite thing about both of us is the fact that we still always find a way back to one another. Now, he was the person that would always make the first move to come and reach out and say, okay, let's talk about this thing. And I'll say, no, I'm not ready. I'm still sitting. I'm upset. And then he would give me my space and let my fish fry. And it'll take maybe 2 days, and then he comes back again, let's talk. And then I'll be ready to talk. Okay, let's talk. And I'll still be dramatic and everything. And he kept doing that. I was never the person to come and say, okay, let's talk. I would just sit and wait. And then he would come. And I think at some point he got tired of it. No, he's not. I don't think. He's told me. He got tired of waiting for me and then always making the first move. And so I had to step in quickly, because at some point he did not even send me again. He was like, fine, if you don't want to talk, that's fine, don't talk. But I also had to learn to step in. And it took a lot of learning, because I really wasn't used to that let's talk thing. I kind of, let me say, I knew how to keep malice. I was great at it. And so I could go for as long as necessary. But he wasn't that person. And so I just, I inflicted that vice into him. And then he started becoming that person as well. And so I think it was at that point I realized that you have done something wrong. You need to fix this. You need to correct this. And so I started trying to walk around it, and I would come. Even right now, it still comes more naturally to him than it would to me. But when I see that there's a chance, I take it. Unlike before that, I would say, oh, I'm still angry. Let me enjoy being angry and all of that. He comes right now and gives me an olive branch, and I take it. Even if we need to talk things out or we need to vent and whatnot, we will still vent. We will get to that point. But first, let's have the olive branch, and then we can go from there. And so knowing that you can actually just drop what it is, take that olive branch, and then walk through whatever the situation is, was a major game changer for me. Also, expectations. So we all have expectations, and like we say to ourselves, our expectations are valid. But sometimes we forget that the expectations that we came into marriage with cannot sustain the marriage. So we have to keep evolving with each season. And I'll speak for me here. Maybe I didn't learn that on time. And then I still had expectations, and I thought, oh, it had to be this way, and it had to be, that's what I want. But then I quickly got to the point where I realized, maybe not quickly, I got to the point where I realized that, you know what, your expectations are valid, but then there are seasons. This person is evolving, and you are evolving as well. I also got to the point where I started understanding myself more, and then started giving him grace. And so even though I have expectations, I will still want to benchmark my expectations against realistic standards. So yesterday, he came, and then, I went to the kitchen. He was in the kitchen, and I went behind him and I hugged him. And then he said, "Oh, I've always dreamt of my wife hugging me," and I knew that he was speaking to me.
Speaking about
Speaking
you.
about me, because when we first got married, I'll say, "Oh, I mean, you see it in the movies now."
Yes, just hugging.
And so I thought that was how life was supposed to be.
I never had any expectations, have any dreams about it.
Jokes on me. And then I'll be there and nothing will happen. I think I eventually voiced out my expectation. But then I realized also that, you see, those expectations are not really what makes the marriage work. It's the fact that you're able to make tweaks, make adjustments, consistent effort, and then put in a lot of hard work. But a lot of times we just think, oh, marriage is supposed to be a safe space. Some people get married because they want to run away from their parents. And they know, I'm getting married to a man that loves me, he will pamper me and everything. And you realize that marriage is real life.
Yeah.
The parents will soft life, but marriage is a lot more school of hard knocks.
School of hard knocks. Wow. Okay. I you know what I love about what you just said is just that level of self-awareness of knowing, okay, this is what I bring, this is where I could be better, this is my expectation, this is what he's going through at the moment. I think if we're all more aware of ourselves, our shortcomings, and what the other person brings, and we give that person grace, then we have a very good chance of having a successful marriage. So I want to ask you, you have two girls, the dynamic of having children, did that affect the marriage? And did it meet up to your expectations of what marriage is? You know, some people think, okay, I get married, I have kids, and I live happily ever after.
Well, I think that was, I mean, when my wife got pregnant 2 months after we got married, you know, before.
Was this expected? Was this
No,
part of the plan?
before we
Have
got
you
married, in
discussed
my
it?
head, I was like, 6 months, 1 year, you know, let's
You
just
enjoy yourselves.
you know, and then 2 months down the line, you know, and that changed the trajectory of so many things. It felt at some point like I had committed a crime.
Wow.
You know, so everything just went from seemingly cool from honeymoon to crazy. Right? Because even for her, everything almost felt like shutting down. Her work, her emotions, it was a lot, right? So at the time, I mean, the perfumes I would use usually that she liked became like a plague. I would sometimes just be passing, she's throwing up. She literally threw up from the start to the last day of that pregnancy. So
Sorry.
she was
I can't imagine.
Yeah, it was a lot. She was literally sick all the while. Right. I would say, you know, sometimes I try to be romantic and a nice guy. I want to cook something. I've done all the cooking and she's just like, she's not eating. You know, sometimes I can ask her, Pele, how are you? And she's offended, you know, and I'm this very, how will I put this? I'm not the guy that is, I don't want to say exposed. I'm like very content with my space. You know, I don't have experience of life like a wild, no, I'm just like very straightforward, right? So in my head, I'm like, what's going on? What have I done? What did I do wrong? You know, it was quite challenging, but for me, I'm responsible for her. Well, I was responsible, still responsible. So in as much as all of those things were happening, I still found a way to say, okay, tomorrow I will still come and shall try. We did it. I was going for antenatal, all of the sessions she had. I was always there. I had work, but I would always say, because it was a bit flexible at the time, so I would always be there. Sometimes I'll be the only guy in the room with pregnant women all around the place getting lectures. Sometimes they would throw a question at me and I'll be like, why am I getting involved in this thing? Can I just sit down here? You know. So it was good. It was beautiful. We were expecting our first child, you know, but it was a mixture of, I mean, the entire thing has been a mixture of bitter, sometimes not so bitter, sometimes really sweet. I'm like, oh my God, you know, I would be singing to my daughter while she was pregnant. I'll be playing the guitar and singing to her, you know, those moments. So it was beautiful at the same time, challenging. But bottom line is, we were expecting our daughter. It was worth it. She was also trying to figure out her life. Let me put it that way.
I can
Herself
I
and
can
so much
totally
more. So
relate.
so
Yeah.
yes, but she's someone I love so much, and even with the ups and downs, for me, I always find a light, no matter how small it is, and just hold to that.
Okay. Yes, I can relate to that. And my husband was with me in the delivery room, and I know what pregnancy can do to a woman, like psyche, work, and you just don't even understand what is going on in your body. And I don't think we have these conversations enough. So it's so good to hear like you were right there with her, like sitting with her doing antenatal. That's
Even in the delivery room.
that's amazing.
So for both our daughters, and he was there in the delivery room, and I don't know that I could have gone through labor without him. So the first delivery took, I was induced both times. The first one took about 25 hours,
Wow, that's
and it was traumatic.
that's
Because
that's
after
the right
I was
word.
like, I don't know that I want to do this again. I was very terrified of labor. But he was there throughout, and he held my hand. And when I wanted to squeeze, I could squeeze, I could cry, I could do anything I wanted to do, and he was there with me. Now for the second, so I was admitted the day before, and then he was there. He was admitted with me. We were there together. we still have pictures and videos from there. And then even for the second, it was the same thing. And during the first antenatal period, someone was saying, "Is your first Abi?" Yes. That's why he's here.
Yeah.
Don't worry, he will not be here for the second. But the second time, he was present.
I deal with you. Don't worry
I
yourself.
know. And so he was present throughout. And I mean, on the days that he needed to attend to work or attend to our first child, I would understand those times. But if he had any free opportunity, he would show up for me, and it was such a big deal. Now I want to say that as much as the first pregnancy was crazy, the second was a lot better, in the sense that I understood what exactly was happening to me. And so because I understood, I also brought that consciousness into into that period. The first pregnancy, I think we had sex maybe less than 5 times in the
9
entire 9
months.
months.
And then afterwards,
Even after self, it was hard. So it was until about 11 months postpartum that I was able to say, okay, I'm ready. But for the second, I was very conscious, because again, I began to understand these things. I was reading, I had more information, and so I was very conscious and paying attention to his needs as well. And I was trying to be not let my own needs overwhelm. So I could speak and say, this is how I'm feeling in this moment. This is what I need in this moment. And thankfully, I'm not one of those people that crave those things. I didn't have any cravings, so I wouldn't send him
alligator
at
tongue.
I wouldn't
at
send
2
him at
a.m.
midnight to go and look for akara or any of those things. So I have. I mean, that's my good side. But I was very conscious, and in that consciousness, I was also paying attention to him, and then it made it a lot easier. So even postpartum, I was ready to. I was still, even while I was healing. Once I got past the 6 week mark, I was open to, okay, let's try, and not say, oh no, I'm not ready for this, and then just push it away. And so yeah, with a lot more intentionality, we got better, and then with navigating parenting, and I like that I can wake up and say I need to go somewhere, even if I give him a 5 minute notice. He understands that it's urgent. Of course, I would not do what is not necessary. He understands that it's urgent, and he will make space for me to go. If he has to stay home with the kids, he will do that, and then I will do the same thing for him. And so I really like that we have that dynamic going for us, and there's no, oh, my job is more important, or oh, I earn more, or whatever it is. And so we just have that going for us, and we are kind to one another, and then we have grace for one another in situations like that.
Yeah, there's that level of compassion I can see, and just even that I love this person, so I also know that I want to make this person happy, but I also have to take care of myself. I think is something we don't talk enough about. And sometimes social media will say, what do you expect the man to do? You're pregnant, you don't want to have sex, so the man should have a girlfriend or he should have somebody outside. At the end of the day, is he going to wait and wait and wait? I mean, did you ever have conversations on that first time around? Did you have expectations? Like, did you know, okay, 6 weeks, but 6 weeks might actually be 12 weeks. It might not be just 6 weeks. Just because the doctor has said, go ahead, doesn't always mean the woman is ready, or, and even like just the mental stress and the physical stress and toll on the woman, but also on the man, because there's now a new human that you're responsible for. How did you navigate that?
Yeah, well, I think that maybe I'm naturally built like that, right?
Built like how? To be celibate for long periods? I don't understand. What does built like that mean?
No, I wasn't
Explain,
even referring
sir.
to the celibacy. The celibacy part, I'm not the guy that has blue balls,
Okay.
as they say it, right? Because I mean, I would say that before I met her, I'd only dated one woman for like 5 months, and then I met her. That's it, right? But aside that, I think the other things that helped me, to how will I manage the entire process is, I think I just try to understand, right? When the house chores or doing other things, staying awake for the child, I'm quick to adjust to situations, right? We have a help, for instance. Now, when the help is not around, it's not a problem for me. I can go and wash the dishes and cook when I need to cook and all that. So I grew up in a house where my mom gave birth to 9 children. She gave birth 8 times, but I mean, the last were twins, right? So pretty much we did stuff when there'll be a time you start washing the dishes in the house. There'll be a time you start cleaning the house or sweeping and all that. So
you never saw it as a woman's thing. It was just what we all did in the house.
No, I mean, I like my wife to be in charge of things, like, because she's responsible for my life. So I want her to, I would not go to the kitchen and start managing the house helps or the staff that are in the house. That should be her managing that.
Should it?
Yes, because I literally have given her the responsibility of my life. There are also some things that I won't sit down and watch my wife fetching water or carrying heavy water. I won't do that. I won't sit down and she's ironing her clothes. No, I would get up and she won't even do that, right? Because I've made it that she should not be doing that heavy lifting. She should not be doing certain things that I should be doing. I won't sit down and say, go and turn on the generator, or the generator has a problem, or the car has a problem. I'll say, go and change the tires. No, she won't even do it or change anything in the house. I'll have to do that. So,
but if the tables were turned, like, let's say she had to go off for like 2 months, would you step in and
of course,
manage the kitchen?
So that's what I'm saying. So in my house, for instance, I mean, this is one thing that I brag about. I'm the best sermon maker. So even if she's sitting down, even if she's sitting down, there's nothing going on with her, I will go and make the sermon. It doesn't matter, right? I can dish the food and bring it and we eat it together and clear the dishes if I have to. If she can do it as well, right? So I'm not one of those guys that she can also set up and say, hey, I'm not going to cook, you're going to suffer. No, I'll go into the kitchen and make my food and eat it.
So to add to that, there was a time I was out of the country for about 4 weeks, and we had a daughter then. And I think
you didn't take her?
No, I didn't take her. I think I gave him a 1 week notice or something. I had to travel for work, and I was gone for 4 weeks. And he did everything, so we didn't even have a help at the time.
What did people say? Because I had this conversation with my husband not too long ago, where he said when he traveled with my daughter out of the country, or our daughter out of the country, the way people looked at him, either with disdain, with pity, confusion, shock, like a man, almost like something must have gone wrong. So I don't know how I don't know if you experienced something like that. Maybe people say, you left your child with your husband and you're going, Just share.
People will say, actually, people will say, so my husband washes the dishes because I have anxiety. Once I enter the kitchen and I see that
Yeah,
the dishes are there,
she can stay there for 2 hours
I will not touch
washing
it.
the dishes that I
I
would
will freak
wash
out.
in less than 30 minutes.
I
So
will freak
what's the
out. So
point?
he washes it, and we have come to understand there is strength. He has his strength. I have my strength. There's some places that he's weak at, and I can step up. There are places that I'm weak at, and he can step up, and that's okay. Now, yes, people said, "Oh, you left your daughter with your husband." I said, first of all, I trust my husband. Then I trust my husband with my daughter because my husband is a fantastic father.
That is his daughter.
Yes. So even if they will eat Indomie till I return, I know that he will take care of her, which is not even
No,
possible.
I know I'm a 5-star. Don't try me. 5-star.
Whether it's Indomie, whether it's biscuit, whether it's semo, whether it is whatever it is, I know I was at peace that he would do. In fact, I think my mom came that time. Now she came, and so I have 3 sisters. At that time, 2 of my sisters were in Lagos, and so the plan was they would be changing shifts. My mom came. I think she stayed for a few days, and then she said, "I don't think that this man needs help, so let me go back to my house." And he did. He did it. He was able to take care of our daughter, our first daughter, alone. And all I just needed to do was call, check in, is she good? Okay. Is this if you need something, this is where it is, and then we're fine. And sometimes he will not even call me, figure it out, and then they're good. With our now we have 2. I did a lot of traveling this year, and some of the trips were spontaneous or impromptu. And I'll just say I have to travel in the next 2 hours. And he'll say, okay, I'll take you to the airport. And then he'll take care of the girls. The nanny will come, she resumes in the morning, she closes at 6 p.m. and then she's out and they're good. And nothing, no stress. So if someone is bothered about or what people will say, I can't be bothered because we have a system that works for us. If it doesn't work for you, that's okay. You need to find what works for you. But it works for us. If anybody's uncomfortable with it, that's okay. We're also we're very intentional about the company that we keep because we can't have voices that do not have the same values that we do in our space. So if someone comes into our space and doesn't align with what we are about, we have a conversation about it and decide this person cannot come into our space anymore. And
That really, really happens.
It really happens because we don't have we're not that open.
What about in-laws? Because I mean, you mentioned your mom coming and like this guy can do the work by himself, or it could be a case of maybe he has served her, like, Mama, you don't need to be here. And then she read the room or read the handwriting on the wall. Like, how has that been? Because sometimes marriages are good, but the in-laws prognosing just mess things up.
Just speak to them.
There's no such thing, actually. There's nothing like that. Absolutely nothing. My mother-in-law, when she's around, she wants to do stuff. She's just amazing, right? She's friendly. She prays for you. There's really nothing like that. My father-in-law, he calls me his son, and we're cool, right? So definitely she came at the time, and she's a very religious person too. So she don't miss church like a few days, and she saw that I was literally doing what was needed. Because for me, I would respect her. I wouldn't tell her to go and be cooking or doing. If I just see that it's time to do it, I'll just go do it, right? So that's it for her. Now my family members don't. My dad is late. My mom is in my village. But aside that, my siblings, my younger ones, they don't really know. We're very cool. They talk. If you see my younger brother call, they gist and play. So we literally don't have in-laws issues per se. Our extended families are in our lives quite okay, but not in a way that they interfere with whatever we do or come and then carry face. No, there's nothing like that.
Yeah, and to add to that, so if we have any challenges, for instance, So your sibling said something I didn't quite like, or something. You don't pick a fight with that person. You come and have the conversation, see what your sibling did, or see what your mom said. I didn't quite like it, and then they have the responsibility to go and handle it, right? My mom could say, make a suggestion and say whatever she wants, and if I think that's something that he needs to hear, I mean, because there's some things again that you need, that he doesn't need to hear it.
Yeah.
And so you don't just bring it. But if it's something that he absolutely needs to hear, I say, this is it, this is what happened, this is what it is, but I'm handling it. So everybody handles their family, so that there is no confrontation, no bad blood. So to the glory of God, we don't have in-laws. My in-laws are fantastic. They don't stress me. And I also give credit to my mom's prayers, because my mom had a horrible in-law situation. Horrible. Like at some point, I think there were 11 people passed through our house.
Wow.
Because they were, of course, you know how African families get, you take care of bring your family from the village, and then you send them to school and all of that stuff. And so she had to deal with that. And then her mother-in-law wasn't particularly kind to her. So it was a major prayer point for her. I have 3 sisters. There are 4 of us, all girls. And so it was a major prayer point for her that we wouldn't have in-law issues. And by the grace of God, we don't have in-law issues. My immediate younger sister, she's married. She doesn't have in-law issues. So
Yeah.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God, because I mean, you can't run away from in-laws. I mean, even if you want to keep them happy, at some point they'll come back into your life, maybe gatherings, milestone celebrations, but it can be a tricky one.
It can be. I think the couples also have a role to play, though it sometimes might be difficult, especially when you grow up in a home where you've been doing stuff in a particular way for years.
Yeah.
Now you're married, you're expecting to change it all of a sudden. It can be difficult. But if not that kind of situation, I think that the couples need to set boundaries, right? Because every extended family, they have the tendency to want to test run a few things. They will ask, say something. If you let it play out, then they start behaving in a certain way. But if they see that you shut it down and you're very deliberate, take for instance when after having our first daughter, we waited for like 5 years because my wife was not ready. And her parents were like, okay, when are you going to, they will make this, they will say this, they will give this adage, they will, and at one time my mom came visiting, right? And she had a conversation with her mother. And then my mom calls me and was like, okay, there's a conversation I want us to have. You don't have another child. And when she was done talking, I told her, I said, this is the only time I'm going to respond to this thing. And I don't want to hear it again. When we are ready for another child, we'll give birth to another child. None of you people pay a dime for anything that we do in this house. When we have our responsibilities, you don't come to our rescue. So when we are ready, we will do what we need to do. That was the end, the first and the last of that conversation, right? And several other things, within my siblings and all that, but they see that there's a roadblock. So with that, everybody aligns. Of course, because my family has not been one that prognosis or interferes too much, it was easy for me to just say, okay, hey, this is a no-go area, stay off. And everybody just agrees to that. So, yeah.
That's really good, because sometimes we, without knowing, give people room to continue to push and to test the boundaries. And then it gets to a certain point and you're like, wait a minute. If you're really honest, you see that you are the one that was aiding and abetting by not just, stepping up to the plate and just shutting it down, like nipping it in the bud. So as you reflect on 7 years, is there anything in particular that you wish, and this will be my last question, that had I known, vision is 2020, if I could change anything, or maybe not change anything, but maybe advice that you would give a young couple who is still figuring things out, maybe 3-year mark, the first year, or maybe they've even gone past 7 years, and I mean, we can still learn from each other. So that would be my last question to both of you.
All right. I think I mentioned earlier, I said for me, it has always been that I look for the light. There's always somewhere that there's a light, something that you can hold on to. And like you stated when you started, when there's no violence, when there's no, physical abuse, right, happening, then you have something to work with, right? And if there's still, for me, I work in faith. I have hope. When the hope is still alive, there's something that I look for. So my advice would be that if it can be salvaged, if it can work, it can work, because marriage is beautiful. For me, I usually say that I have two of myself. It's a benefit. If I have to be somewhere, I can't be there. My wife is there. So she's like another me, acting or doing something that I would have done. And for me, I think that marriage has made me more responsible, more futuristic, and happier, to a very large extent. And every day I wake up knowing that I have a beautiful wife, amazing kids, and there's a future for us, right? There's also a part where, for me, my wife is a big girl, right? And I say that I wanted to put this out. I say it is flex to be married to a big that has something she's doing, because of course there's this ideology that a man is supposed to provide everything. Yeah, as much as possible, I do the heavy lifting as much, but the times, and a lot of the time when my wife does, it's good. And sometimes on my birthday, she throws a surprise or she drops a very fantastic gift. I'm looking forward to when she'll buy me a car. It's flex.
It's flex, so it is. I love it. I love it.
So for me, I think that as much as possible, if you can, even as a woman, do your own stuff. If you have a husband that is very supportive, run with your own vision, have your dreams, because at the end of the day, it's beneficial to the family. They have their children, bills keep growing, and I don't think that there's monopoly of success in the world. A woman can be more educated, more exposed, and have more opportunities, and a man can likewise. So whichever way come, it's about the blessings of God. And the blessings of God, when it rains, it falls on everyone, every field, every plant, right? The harvest can be enjoyed by the entire family at a go, right? But if you don't do anything, you realize that even when the rain falls, it's just one small stream that you all have. But there should be expansion. The goal should be that we are now two. I'm not hustling alone. I'm not forcing myself, just trying to figure out life alone. I'm not walking alone. I'm with someone. And with that, it should make sense for both of you. Your understanding of life, your growth, your expansion, your success, it should be all encompassing.
Clock it. All right. I'll let you wrap up.
Okay. Yes, first thing I was going to say was, when find a little glimpse of light, whatever it is, find hope and hold on to it. But beyond that, there is a place of giving one another grace. So I came from, he said my mom is religious, and so that also affected. I grew up in a very religious space. We went to church, say 4 times a week, and even that was 4 times was the minimum. And then there was so much religious activity and all of that. And then you grow up with this mindset that just makes you feel like, oh, I'm better than everybody else in the world. And so there's a tendency that you begin to judge every other person. And so I would say that I came into marriage with that mindset of, oh, you're not doing this right, you're wrong. And then it affected a lot, because he was always feeling judged, like, is there nothing good I can do? At some point he was feeling like, okay, I'm not good enough for you, and all of that. But coming to that realization that, no, I can give this person grace. Actually, it was it was an awakening. I can give him grace. I can think of the best of him. I can think that his intentions are good. And so even when he does something to me that upsets me, I can stop and think of the fact that, and think of something he has done in the past, think of the good things he has done in the past, and then think that his intentions for me are good. So maybe he just slipped up. Maybe he made a mistake. And then with that, I can give him grace. And in giving one another grace, he has given me a lot of grace in our marriage. And coming out of being judgmental, I realized that, giving grace is all that we can do if we're going to move forward. And so we have been doing that with one another, and yeah, we're here.
Oh, thank you very much. Hey, well done. It was such a pleasure having both of you here. And I've learned a lot. So I'm sure my husband will watch it and say, I hope you're learning. You're not just doing your podcasting. But yes, thank you so much.
Thank
and
you
I
for having us.
wish you all the best with the PR and all the traveling, big girls.
You
Are
know.
you, Daddy Yo, with the voiceover? Yeah, doing big things. And
Thank you.
regards to the girls, well
Thank you.
done. All
Thank you so
right.
much, Isabella. Thank you for having us.
Welcome to the part where I tell you what I'm loving now. So, did you know that you can go strawberry picking here in Nigeria? I'm not talking about in England or America, but you can actually go to a strawberry farm and you can pick fruits and you pay for it and you just have that same experience. You know, I don't know about you, but maybe it's because there's just so much attention on Nigeria. People are coming here because of tourism and the fact that a lot of fruits that we associate with England, the US, Canada, America, we have them here in Nigeria. We have locally grown strawberries and it's such an amazing activity. You can go alone. You can go with your kids, with the entire family. I think it's a great way to even just learn about plants. You know, during the tour, you can find out, you know, the seasons of the strawberries and how to pluck it. And, you know, sometimes just leave your screens alone. Like leave the iPad, the tablet, even the screen that you're using to watch for families podcast, just sometimes close it and go. I didn't say you should close for families podcast, but if you're looking for an outdoor activity, yes, you'll have to go all the way to Jos, but trust me, it will be worth it. And if you want to find out some amazing activities in the city of Jos, you can definitely check out Discover Jos, and they can hook you up with amazing tours like the strawberry picking tour, or if you just want to discover Jos or even the other cities in Plateau State. So yes, that's what I'm loving now. The fact that some of these things that you think you can only do abroad, you can actually do them here in Nigeria, like strawberry picking. And that's what I'm loving now. Welcome to the part where I answer all your burning questions. So thank you for sending in your questions. Thank you to everyone who leaves a comment, a question, a suggestion, or just even says, well done, Isabella, you're doing an amazing job. I love For Families podcast. First of all, thank you. So today's question is about lewd lyrics and our children listening to some of the very suggestive lyrics that's found in our music, not just Nigerian music, but music globally. And the fact is, we can't run away from this because you can control what you listen to at home, but our children go out, they go for events, they go for parties, they go to school, they listen to the radio, they're exposed to some of these lyrics. So depending on their ages, if you are a parent, you're concerned and you don't want your children repeating these suggestive and lewd lyrics, it's important that we take some of these steps. So in my opinion, I think the first thing is ensure that you're listening to clean edits or radio edits. So even Nigerian stations will get fined, Nigerian radio stations, if they play lyrics with very lewd lyrics. I mean, swear words, to be very particular or to be specific. It's the swear words that they have to edit out. So you might be noticing it like when you're listening to radio and you just find out that there's a part that is silent. That's a radio edit. But that only tends to take care of the swear words. But you know, some lyrics are very suggestive. Even as a child, you were singing them and we're like, is this what he really meant? I think in those cases, just try as much as possible to have a curated playlist that your children listen to, that you play in the house. If you must listen to such songs, try not to play them in front of your children, because trust me, they're going to grab the lyrics as fast as possible, and they'll just be singing without even having understanding. And then if your children are at the age or at the ages where they're able to select their own songs, then you can have a conversation with them. You can actually tell them, as long as they're under your roof, to say, look, I don't think you should be listening to this kind of song. And you can explain why. Even some of the songs that come from our favorite artists, there's a sign on them. There's a rating, rated R. And there's a reason for that, or explicit lyrics. You can have that conversation that for their age group, these songs are not appropriate. When they're older, they can decide to listen to those songs, but as long as they're under your roof and they're still a certain age, then just let them know that's why the rating is there. It's the same thing for movies. There are certain movies that our children can't watch because they are not of age. So sometimes having that conversation is also important. And then also letting them know about the values you have as a family. If your values, maybe based on your religion, does not allow for these kind of lyrics, then have that conversation with them. And we can't really control everything they're going to listen to, but we can be intentional about getting them to understand why we've taken certain decisions as parents and as a family. So I hope that helps. And if you've had that same situation, let me know how you've navigated it and what you've done. I know some parents that are actually okay with their children singing the explicit lyrics. And in their own defense, they say, well, they're going to grow up and learn all about it. We sang the same thing when we were their age. They are okay with that. They are okay with their children singing swear words. But if you're not okay with that and your family doesn't stand for that, then you do need to put some measures in place, like I mentioned, where you have that conversation, or you curate it, or you ask them to share the songs with you first, or you just you're just constantly looking out for ways to avoid them being in that situation. So you, as a parent, to try now, don't also play the song like that. Wait till they've gone to bed or they're out of the house, or you play the clean version, the radio edit. So yeah, that's all I'll say. But I would love to hear from you. Do you have any questions? Do you have any suggestions? Do you have scenarios that have worked that you'd love to share? Please get in touch with us. I'm all ears. I'm all eyes. I can't wait. Can you tell that I'm always excited on For Families podcast? I know I say it every single time, but it's because the conversations, they are so real. Like our couple today, amazing, 7 years of marriage, and it wasn't all hunky-dory. They were so honest with us. They were vulnerable. And I think that's what makes it so worthwhile for me, not just as the host of For Families podcast, but as someone who is married, who has children, who is in a marriage. And I'm really glad to know that I'm not alone. There's some scenarios that they shared, and I was like, yeah, I can relate with that. Or okay, maybe I should be doing this. So I really enjoyed just the honesty and the openness of the couple. And yes, I can't wait to have more couples. I do enjoy having, a mom, a dad, a parent, a husband, a wife. But I look forward to having more couples on the show. I look forward to having children, teenagers, to come and share their perspective, grandparents, in-laws. Let me just give you my wish list. Yes. So therefore, what I'm loving now, the strawberry picking. Who would have thought that here in Nigeria, you can go strawberry picking? Like, what are you doing this weekend? I'm going strawberry picking. It's such a cool activity for the entire family. And talk about even like the pictures, like, oh, where is this? Is this in London? No, it's in Jos. It's in Nigeria. Hook up, discover Jos. And like, wow. So we have this here. And for the issue on lewd lyrics, explicit lyrics. I think it's just important that we all know what we stand for as parents, as a family, what our values are, and we do whatever it's in our power to do to ensure that our children are only listening to the kind of music with the lyrics that is appropriate for their age. That's what I think. And that aligns with your values and your background and maybe your religious beliefs. Really important. There's a reason why a lot of these songs have ratings, if not all the songs have ratings. So I really hope that you've enjoyed this episode of For Families podcast as much as I have enjoyed hosting it. I remain Isabella Adediji. Before I tell you to come back next week for more, please, if you haven't already subscribed, Ejo, Biko, please subscribe to our channel, tap the notification bell so that you know exactly when our new episodes drop. And of course, follow us on our social media platforms and tell a friend to tell a friend. We're all part of families, whether it's our nuclear, extended family, church family, spiritual family, mosque family, work family. Family is so important. So I can't wait for you to come back yet again on the next episode of For Families podcast. Goodbye.